The Summerville Steam Special returns in 2024, which this excursion usually features Southern Railway 282 Mikado type steam locomotive number 4501. As there are the occasional doubleheaders, as usually 2 to 3 are planned, with also some happening for special events, with the first doubleheader of the season being on June 1st, which would also feature Southern Railway 280 consolidation type steam locomotive number 630. The Summerville Steam Special runs from Grand Junction in Chattanooga, Tennessee at the Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum all the way down to Somerville, Georgia, where both locomotives will be turned on a turntable and return north back to Chattanooga. On journeys both south to Somerville and north back to Chattanooga, they do go through the town of Chickamauga, Georgia, where the second deadliest battle of the Civil War took place. The Summerville Steam Special started in 1995, but was not coined that name at that time. Originally, for the regular season, it was nicknamed the Summerville Daylight, and then in the fall season, it was called the Autumn Leaf Special. The most notable Somerville trip in the 90s was the doubleheader that featured TVRM 280 S160 type steam locomotive number 610 and Southern Railway 4501, as there had been a few doubleheaders in the 90s for the Somerville trips. The most iconic one I'm referring to is on September 19th, 1998. And 4501's boiler ticket expired the last day of September of 1998, so this would have been her last excursion before being put down to be retired. The 610 would continue to do the Somerville trips up until 2009, and then it would go under for its flu time in 2010. There would be a brief period of a year before the Summerville Steam Special would actually return in 2011 with the newly restored Southern Railway 630. This was when the Somerville trips were coined the nickname the Summerville Steam Special. The 630 was originally being restored for the Missionary Ridge Local and the dinner trains for something small, but it would be a part of something so much larger, which would end up being the 21st Century Steam program on Norfolk Southern. It would be the star along with Nickel Plate Road 765 with the Fort Wayne Railroad Historical Society, up until 2014 when the 4501 made a comeback at TVRM Railfest 2014. And shortly afterwards, the Summerville Steam Special would be able to have a doubleheader again, as the 4501 led these doubleheaders. The 4501 would be now the candidate from the TVRM for the NS Steam program, and would be joined alongside with Norfolk and Western 611 from the Virginia Museum of Transportation, which had been restored in 2015. Sadly, after the 2015 season, the NSD program ceased for at least TVRM and the Fort Wayne Railroad Historical Society, where the Virginia Museum of Transportation continued to operate excursions with 611 up until 2017. The 630 and 4501 ever since then have been either on museum trains or the Summerville Steam Special, as 630 is typically the one that handles the Missionary Ridge Local. After 2019, the Summerville Steam Special was gone actually for a period of time due to the spike in COVID-19 with the pandemic, as city officials had closed the Somerville, Georgia train depot, not allowing passengers to be able to lay over comfortably at the station. So what they did was Chickamauga turn, where they would run the steam locomotive down in Chickamauga and have the diesel lead the locomotive back north to Chattanooga. As they expected for the Summerville Steam Special to return in 2021, that did not become a reality due to track work and a bridge needing repaired on Norfolk Southern, not allowing passenger trains to be used on it due to liability. Only freight trains could use it. So until that was resolved, the Summerville Steam Special was on halt. Luckily, a lot of rail fans were happy to hear that the Summerville Steam Special was to return in 2023. Now let's watch the Southern Railway Summerville Steam Special doubleheader with Southern Railway 630 and 4501. Hello and welcome to GT Railfan Productions. It is June 1st, 2024, and here we are stationed in Chattanooga, Tennessee, on the Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum's trackage. We would be awaiting the ferry move of the Southern Railway 282 Mikado-type steam locomotive built in 1911 by the Baldwin Locomotive Works, number 4501, from the Bobsleigh Shops in East Chattanooga to Grand Junction. The whistle you just previously heard on the 4501 was the Virginia and Southwestern 3 chime. Now some of you may know it of sounding a different way, well they slightly tuned it to sound different. Our next train would be the Missionary Ridge Local, also ferrying to Grand Junction, with TVRM 1829, which is an EMD GP7 originally built for the U.S. Army Railroad in August of 1951. And the horn equipped on the 1829 would be an ex-Southern Railway Nathan M5 train horn, which is rare in the 21st century, and so is this Leslie A200 that you're about to hear, which is also on the 1829. After capturing the Missionary Ridge Local ferrying from East Chattanooga, we turn our camera towards the tunnel as this is the same location. The Central of Georgia 6 chime you just heard belongs to Southern Railway 280 Consolidation type steam locomotive built in February of 1904 by the American Locomotive Company, number 630. It is as well ferrying from the Bobsleigh Shops in East Chattanooga to Grand Junction. As you previously had seen, both the 4501 and 630 were solo in their ferry or deadhead moves to Grand Junction. Well, they were loading passengers for the Summerville Steam Special and hooked both 4501 and the 630 up, where 630 would lead where the 4501 would trail, creating a doubleheader. This would be the first doubleheader of the season for the Summerville Steam Special, as they occasionally do a couple or a few each year. I had been wanting to do this excursion since 2011 when the 630 came back, but I really irked to get out when the 4501 returned from retirement when they did the double header. As I originally was planning on the November doubleheader, I decided last minute to join Henderson Rail Productions, and thanks to Lane's Trains for also making this trip possible. Currently, they are on TVRM trackage, which they will break off at East Chattanooga, where they will run on the East Chattanooga Belt Railway down to East 23rd Street. East 23rd Street is where they will get permission from NS to jump onto the Chattanooga and Chickamauga Railway, as they have to cross an active main line in order to get to the trackage of the Chattanooga and Chickamauga Railway. For a little bit after the interchange at East 23rd, the trackage is shared with NS and the Chattanooga and Chickamauga Railway, and eventually becomes the Chattanooga and Chickamauga Railway. After East 23rd Street, they would head south to Somerville, where they would be able to turn the locomotives on a turntable, and then return back to Chattanooga. With a 5-mile-per-hour speed restriction through the Missionary Ridge Tunnel, here they are about to exit the tunnel. If you listen very closely, the 6th car back, Dossett Yard Productions says something really funny as he goes by, as he would be riding with Delay and Block Productions, which we would get to meet him later at dinner thanks to Dossett Yard Productions. Here's the Summerville Steam Special traversing the Beltline in downtown Chattanooga, blowing for a lot of crossings, as we are set up at the first major road crossing, North Holtzclaw Avenue. There would be a second one as well on this road, but there would be plenty of crossings right after us. Now on the outskirts of Chattanooga, after getting the proceed from NS to jump on Chattanooga and Chickamauga trackage, they would be approaching the state line with Tennessee and Georgia. Here is where the train would encounter its first uphill significant grade, which is called the Missionary Ridge Grade. This would be the first time we would see them put on quite the show. The overall rating is a 1.5% grade, but coming southbound it's less steeper and shorter compared to coming northbound out of Chickamauga. Regardless though, the 630 is putting on quite the show with 4501 giving it assistance. Here a mural can be seen of the Civil War Battle of Chickamauga. It took place between September 18th to 20th, 1863, between the Confederate Army and the Union Army. Some of you may not know this, but the word Chickamauga, its roots come from Native Americans, specifically being the Cherokee. Now, there are two tribes of the Cherokee, with one being the Lower Cherokee and the other being Upcountry Cherokee. The Lower Cherokee translation of Chickamauga is stagnant water, while the Upcountry Cherokee translation of Chickamauga is River of Death. Now, some of you might be wondering, is that because of the battle? Well, no. The name actually comes from where the Cherokee contracted smallpox. Due to blind spots and hard visibility for both cars for the approaching train and also for the train crew with the approaching cars, they had to slow roll over the crossing in order to make sure that people knew that the train was coming, just in case they needed to stop. Before entering the town of Chickamauga, they actually go through the Chickamauga and Chattanooga National Military Park, where the battle took place. Here at this location, we would meet Ravenhawk 6910, him and his son, which was a great pleasure to meet both of them. He also notified us that there was a festival going on in downtown Lafayette, Georgia, so we decided not to risk it and try to get the depot shot with the possibility of there being traffic and roads blocked off. We would zoom past the train after here and head to the crossing just south of the Lafayette Airport. And thanks again, Ravenhawk6910. Make sure to check out his video when it comes out, and his YouTube channel will be tagged in the description, and his YouTube channel link will also be there too. Here at this location would be the next significant grade to Somerville, which is Martindale Grade. Both the 630 and 4501 would be working hard to tackle this grade, putting on quite the show with amazing stack talk, with the overall rating being a 1.2% grade here. The train has a slow order to cross this bridge safely. As you can tell, the bridge is mainly components of wood and metal. And this bridge is a unique design as it is a trestle all the way up to the embankment of the Chattanooga River, where the truss bridge goes over the actual river itself. The original company that chartered the railroad into here was the Chattanooga, Rome, and Columbus Railroad. It was 157 miles by 1888 from Chattanooga, Tennessee to Carrollton, Georgia. In 1891, though, it was purchased by the Savannah and Western Railroad, but sadly they went bankrupt and the federal courts returned the CRNC to its original owners. In 1897, it was sold to Simon Borg & Company and renamed the Chattanooga, Rome, and Southern Railroad. This was short-lived, as 3 years later, it was purchased by the Chattanooga and Durham Railroad. And if you thought that was short-lived, Only a year later, the CRNS was purchased by the Central of Georgia Railroad. Now, what's cool about this location at this bridge, actually, was in 1907, a Central of Georgia train did derail off the bridge into the river. There are no details on what exactly happened, no newspaper clippings, just this photo exists.
Bird watching.
So after getting a bite to eat in Somerville, we return and they are already turned around, coupled up, both doubleheading again, as they turned them on the turntable, which we were hoping to get shots of, as they had a caboose in the side track closest to the depot. So we figured it would take extra time, as they would have to shove it out of the way, turn the locomotives, and then be able to hook back up to the caboose, as they would be taking it back to Chattanooga. But as we arrived back on the scene, they were basically ready to go to hook back up to the train. So let's watch them doublehead with this caboose, which is quite the rare sight. While waiting for passengers to load back up, and while they're hooking up the train to make sure everything's good before inspecting it before departure, the 630 releases some smoke, as some would call it, rolling coal, causing a smoke storm all over the crossing and basically anywhere in the vicinity of the train before departure. At the Georgia Northwestern Technical College in Rock Spring, Georgia, there is a field open enough to allow passengers to get off and for them to back up and perform a photo run-by, and then reload and continue to Chattanooga. Both the steam locomotives would put on a fantastic show of stack talk here for the photo run-by, and actually the 630 had a very deafening bark when she was getting up to speed. This was probably the loudest we heard 630 from the day, as she was a good distance away and you could actually hear the individual chuffs. Not saying the shows put on at the grades were not cool with the amazing snack talk. This just was very deafening and surprising. After the run-by, we just drive up the road a little north to the classic Rock Spring shot of them coming north. After Rossville, they have to ask NS to get permission to cross onto their main line and jump back onto the East Chattanooga Belt Railway, which will go through a bunch of crossings through downtown Chattanooga, eventually crossing North Holtzclaw Avenue and paralleling the road before crossing it again after a bunch of crossings, and continuing on to TVRM trackage. And we are now set up at the 4.5% grade at East Chattanooga. Now let's watch them tackle this grade and put on a fantastic show. After arrival at Grand Junction, both the 630 and 4501 would be turned on the Y separately, and the passengers would be able to deboard and head back home or to their hotels. I would like to thank Henderson Rail Productions and Lane's Trains for allowing me to come along last minute, and it was a pleasure getting to meet new friends and also getting to see Dossett Yard Productions again after it had been almost 2 years at this point, and finally getting to meet Delay and Block Productions. Make sure to check out everyone's content on their YouTube channels when it is posted. Their YouTube channels will be tagged in the description below, and also will have the YouTube channel link available as well. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share, as some of this information in the video was kind of hard to find. I would like to give a big thank you to Georgian Rail and River Productions, or Travis Gordon, as a lot of this information in the video would not have been able to be presented to you all if it wasn't for him. Dossett Yard Productions and Lane's Trains was also a big help as well. Make sure to stay tuned, as we do have a video of Southern 630 on the Missionary Ridge Local from the next day, and more awesome content coming as well.